Groups are actually just a number of different individual addresses or control points which we're going to program into one single button. And a pattern is actually what we call a scene or a preset, as they refer to them in other contexts. And again, just a variety of different functions all happening at the push of one button. So as an example, we have an individual control. We have a group control, which we're controlling multiple spaces again with the push of one button. We have 256 individuals. We have 127 groups that we can also program in addition to those 256 individuals. And again, a group programs exactly like an individual programs. It just falls under a different name. We're just sending and receiving different information from the system. And you will also see on the actual programmer that there is a G button, there is an I button, and there is a P button. Individual, group, and pattern. The D button is for our old technology. In the previous early years of the NexLight system, they actually had to call a dimmer a dimmer. In this technology, a dimmer is considered an individual, so it doesn't differentiate itself from an individual as a dimmer. This is only used when we're programming in old systems. So we have 256, I should say, of the individual control points that we can control with this system. We have 127 groups. In addition to that, we also have presets or scenes, as I mentioned. And we have 72 of those presets or scenes that we can also program into a system, as shown by this device. As this scenario, I should say. A pattern is different than a group is different than an individual. A group, of course, is just a number of different individuals together. A pattern is actually a combination because groups and individuals are simply on-off commands. The only other thing that we might do with an individual or with a group is perhaps to add some on timers or some off delay timers. A pattern, however, gets to be a much more complex, potentially a much more complex command. A pattern can include on commands, it can include off commands, it can include dim commands, it can include motor controls. So in a single push of a button, we're actually turning some lights on, we're turning some lights off, we're bringing dim levels up or down, we're actually activating blinds or screens or room partitions. It's a much more complex command. And the interesting thing about the NexLight system is many of our competitors, although they may have some presets, I'm not aware of any competitors that have as many presets as we do. We offer, as I say, 72 of those presets in addition to the 127 groups, in addition to the 256 individuals. It's quite an arsenal of programming tools to work with. And then, of course, we can take that pattern, since it can control both on and off, and we can make it in either on-only or off-only command.